Welcome to the Shields on Hoops podcast. We are previewing game number 12 for the Orange, the last game before the last non-conference game before it is 100% ACC play for the Orange, and we get to see some real tests. All right, Syracuse is going to be hosting Niagara for is it 5 or 5:30? I think it's 5, right?
5. They moved it up to 5.
A 5 p.m. tip. Bowl game at 8. So you'll get your if you're really crazy, you can watch the women play at 10:30 in the morning, and you can watch the men play at 5, and then you can watch football at 8. So depends how orange you want your Thursday to be. Facing tonight, and Niagara team that is statistically and result wise not very good. The worst team on the schedule, pretty much by far. We thought it might be New Hampshire, but they've actually had a pretty solid year. At this point. But yeah, I mean, Niagara is not even close to anybody else as far as Ken Palm goes. And they're not even they're like 170 spots away from the next opponent in the ACC on the schedule. So should be the last tune-up game. I mentioned before, it kind of feels like that Monmouth game last year where they had such terrible numbers and then Syracuse kind of sleepwalked. Hopefully don't do that in this one. Real quick basic summary of Niagara. They're small at the guard. They got some skilled guards, but they are small, 5'9", 6'1", 6'2". They got a big who is a roly-poly big guy, 7 foot 280. They are atrocious defensively, and they can shoot it from 3 a little bit. All right. And they do take care of the ball at a decent rate. Now, I say all those things and about their ratings, and their schedule has not been difficult either. Right. So they are ranking low in a lot of areas, and their schedule has not been tough. I think the best team they've played this year is 81 St. Bonaventure. Okay, so and then there's a bunch of teams like in the 200s and 300s. So like bad numbers against bad teams is not a good look. So Nick, I'll let you kind of speak on these guys a little bit. I watched a little bit of their condensed game against Notre Dame. I'll speak on that a little bit later. But what are your kind of overall vibes and thoughts on this matchup with the Purple Eagles?
Yeah, like you mentioned, there are only 2 games that they've played so far on the schedule with teams that were higher than 150th in Ken Palm are 81 St. Bonaventure and 113 Hawaii. So everybody else is, from the looks of it, is below. See, I was generous and I said 150. Everybody else looks like they're below 200. So, like you mentioned, they really haven't played too many teams, good teams. So, having the numbers that they have and not really playing great competition is kind of eye-opening for Niagara. But, yeah, I mean, the biggest storyline for me that I take away, obviously, is Greg Paulus is coming home. He went to CBA. He played football at Syracuse after he played basketball at Duke. He is the head coach of Niagara, so this is a homecoming for him. But, yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of their go-to guys are guards. They have 3 pretty decent guards. They can score. I mean, I say they can score, but you've seen the competition that they've played this season. So, you take kind of numbers for granted a little bit, but they're very small. Like you mentioned, their guards are very small. Especially compared to Syracuse guards who start JJ and Judah, who are 6'3", 6'4", at the minimum. So it's definitely going to be a game where Syracuse is probably going to jump early, and just kind of keep it going throughout the game. There's not too much to say, like you said, about Niagara. This should be a nice end of the non-conference schedule for Syracuse. You get this win. You're 9-3 heading into ACC play, and then you have a big one. You have December 30th. You have Pitt come to the Dome to start. To start ACC play. I know we played Virginia already, so we're 0-1. But to really get into ACC play, so it's a nice little tune-up game before they have the next 9 days off after the Niagara game. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't imagine the starters are going to play huge minutes. You'll probably see the bench play a number of minutes, especially late in the second half, or depending on how the game goes. I mean, I know there's been games this year where we've seen Syracuse kind of walk through competition where they don't take them as seriously as they should, and games are closer than they really should be. You just kind of hope at this point in the season, with everything they've been through, that they don't take this game for granted and they just come and swing first and don't let Niagara kind of swing back.
Yeah, so let's talk kind of about what Niagara does. I couldn't find much on them on YouTube. The main thing I could find was their condensed game against Notre Dame, which they were actually ahead for most of that game before Notre Dame went on a run to win it. Which, again, the way things are going over in South Bend, it's not that impressive. But some things that kind of – well, let's talk numbers first. Now, for context here, there are 362 Division I teams, all right? Offensive rebounding, they're 322nd. Taking care of the ball, they are a 321. I think that's right. Am I doing that right? Sorry, no, they take care of the ball decently. They don't turn teams over at all, sorry. So they don't turn teams over, right? They don't get to the line, 225th. They don't defend. They have the 341st ranked defense in the country. And when I was watching them play, man, it was like the floodgates were opening. Guys were just driving by dudes, handoff, pick and rolls for layups and dunks. Like it was bad. Like when Notre Dame did score, like it was like just layups, right? Another interesting thing about these guys is they give up very, very, very few assist off made field goals. I think they're like 12th in the country at that. What that basically means when I look at them play is it's not a good thing, right? That's like sometimes that's a good thing, okay? With these guys, it's because they're just giving up layups to the rim, right? Like so there's no point to kick out to anybody if you're just going to shoot a layup or a dunk, right? You know what I mean? So it's just been really easy for offenses against them. Some things they do well. I mean, they do shoot it decently from three. They're 50th, but they don't shoot a lot. So it's like weird, right? They're 50th, but like they're in like the 320s in shots attempted. So that might be why that number is a little bit higher. But again, if you're not good, you might as well, I would just say start firing away. But yeah, that's just me. Offense, they are 309th, like I said, in 3-point attempts per field goal attempt. So they don't shoot a lot of threes. They're 289th in assisted buckets. So like they just kind of, they're just not, there's not a lot that is super remarkable about them. As far as their wins, they beat Buffalo State by about 4,000. They beat 347 NJIT, and they beat 351 St. Francis. So their only wins have been against bottom 15 teams in the entire country. They lost to 305 Bucknell, 276 Binghamton. That was Tuesday, I think. Yeah, that was Tuesday. So pretty recently, Symir was in that one.
Symir actually, speaking of that, Symir actually had 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists against Niagara.
He's having a good year. 241 St. Peter's, 228 Notre Dame, 113 Hawaii, and they lost to number 81 St. Bonaventure by almost 35. So there's not a lot. I mean, offensively, you're going to see some down screens into handoffs or like zoom action. You're going to see some pick and roll. You're not going to see anything too crazy that we haven't seen this year. They just don't have a lot of guys they can't outscore how bad their defense is. And even their offenses has not been great for them. I think a lot of that is due to their size, right? They do a decent job of kind of getting to the rim. We can talk about their players in a second, but they just and they play a lot of guys. Like I think they're playing like 10 guys over 10 minutes. So yeah, they're kind of a weird team, and I don't really have a great feel on them like I usually do. But when I do look at the numbers and the limited film that I've seen, I think they can do some things offensively that might hurt Syracuse if they take care of the ball. But I just can't foresee a situation where Niagara does enough to actually win or even threaten. Again, unless Syracuse pulls what they've been pulling on other teams, right? Like, who knows? Maybe Niagara comes out here and shoots 10 for 14 from three, and Syracuse shoots has a 5 for 30 night. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only plausible thing that I could see happening to where this is a tough one. But I don't think Niagara's even going to be able to force Syracuse to shoot threes. So there's that. All right, there's that.
If you look at their last game, like you mentioned, their most recent game against Binghamton, Binghamton won 74-69, and Binghamton shot. They were 2 of 8 from 3, so they shot 8 threes the entire game. They hit 2 of them, but a lot of their points came obviously in the paint, attacking the rim, dishing off, things like that. So like they scored 74 points and only shot 8 threes in the game. So like, I mean, the numbers equal out at some point. So,
damn, Samir played 40 minutes. So they scored 74 points. He wanted playing time. So they scored 74 points. They took, like you said, they took 8 threes. They took 55 twos, Binghamton did, and 27 free throws. So only turned it over 9 times as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that has been the trend for these guys for most of the season so far. Their best player is a guy named Ahmad Henderson. He is a freshman. Thank God Greg Paulus picked him up because they would be in a world of hurt if he ended up not actually, being around. He leads them in scoring at about 15 a game.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, he's their best option, and he's 5'9", right? He's 5'9". So pretty short guy. But again, he's been producing regardless. Plays 28 minutes, 15 points, 44% from 2, 37.5 from 3, gets to the foul line sometimes. Also averages 2.9 rebounds and 2.1 assists. Only 1.4 turnovers though, right? So not bad. Ball's in his hands. Luke Bumalo, I think is how you say it. He's from Ball State. He's also playing 28 minutes, 8.5 a game. Better 3-point shooter than anything else. He's only taken 7 free throws all year. So he's kind of a mid-range pull-up and 3-point guy.
Against Binghamton, he shot 10 threes. He was 3 of 10 from 3.
Yeah, he's not afraid to pull it. Mensah is a senior. I think he's 6'7". He's their other double-figure scorer. He's a guy who could potentially hurt Syracuse a little bit, I think. He's got the body type. He's kind of like he looks like a prototypical Syracuse forward, honestly. Like lanky and skinny and 6'7". Not really a shooter, but gets to the foul line a lot, leads them in free throw attempts, averages almost 5 rebounds a game. He's a UMBC transfer. I'll talk about 2 more guys, and then I'll stop yapping. Braxton Bayless is a senior. He's a driver. He's a guard who's only taken 8 threes, but he's pretty good at getting to the rim. Nice little finishing game. He hit a couple of floaters against Notre Dame, gets to the free throw line a little bit. And then finally, I think it's Obiwa or something like that. He is the big boy we were speaking of. He's a 7-foot, 280 sophomore. This might be a game where Naheem can play, okay? Like, I don't think that they're going to be that guy's not like a ACC big that he can kind of do multiple things. He hasn't taken a 3 all year. They're not doing much. He does run handoffs and stuff, so you got to be able to step in front of those. But he's not going to be the kind of guy that is, I think, that'll eat Naheem up, like in the pick and roll and stuff like that. I think Naheem will be down. So it might be one of these games where Naheem gets to play or can play a little bit more. And I know he's still nursing some foot stuff too, so that's part of the reason I think also his minutes have been down. And Malik's been playing so great. So like I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get him a little more run here. And again, Syracuse has 9 days off after this as far as games go. So after this, it's going to be all about getting healthy, taking care of what they need to take care of, maybe go home and see family, no Christmas games on the schedule or anything like that. Be a good kind of reset. And hopefully at 9-3, which again, look, if we all told each other that it'd be 9-3, we'd all take it. I think 100%. Some of us probably would have liked 10-2, but us realistic people knew they were not winning a game in Maui against that competition. Maybe some people would have liked to steal that UVA game. But I think the Oregon game was a steal. And at this current juncture of the season, it probably wasn't a steal, but like we said before, it probably will be a steal when all things are said and done and they get, their starters back.
You're missing 5 guys? So
yeah, so I mean, we'll take it. And I don't give a crap, right? That's the way
we talked off air before the Oregon game, and we said it's a game where Oregon doesn't have many dudes healthy. So Syracuse, like, you got to go in and you got to win a game like this. And they went in and they not only did they win, but they won by 20. So
did anybody care when Arenze got hurt? No. Did anybody care when Fab got hurt? No. Right? Or got in trouble? No. You just got to do. Did anybody care when Frank got busted smoking? No. Like we just like
James Sutherland got suspended for a couple games for
buddy
grades
punched
and
a
things
dude.
like
Buddy,
that.
buddy punched a dude. Like nobody cares. Like you still got to figure a way to get it done. And at the end, you either win the game or you lose the game. So I will be interested to track Oregon the rest of the season and see how they kind of bounce back. And when they get their guys back, I think they'll be a different team in Pac-12 play. And Pac-12 has been now I don't know. Pac-12 still might be strong, but the Pac-12 has been struggling in non-con so far this year.
The only team that really hasn't struggled too much is Arizona, and I know they just lost, but they lost to Purdue.
Hop and Washington are having a good year.
Yes, they had the one big upset over Gonzaga as well. So
I think they're getting some top 25 or tournament love right now, and so is Syracuse right now. Actually, I know we're not talking about that, but we're at least being mentioned in certain circles after that Oregon win. Because again, I mean, like people. Okay, we'll talk about that later. All right, any thoughts on the roster?
No, I mean, like you kind of mentioned most of it. A lot of their offense is played through their guards. They're small guards, so Syracuse's guards should be able to stay in front and defend for the most part. No silly gambles by Judah. I'd like to see Judah play a game where it's not let me take myself out of the play and now it's 5-on-4 and things like that. Like you said, just that the biggest thing to take away from the Niagara game is I mean, I know people are going to look at the score and things like that, but to me, the biggest thing to take away is execute at a high level and come out of here healthy. Like you said, they just had finals week. After this, they have 9 days off, so I'm sure a bunch of them are going to go home for the holidays and probably come back like Wednesday next week or Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and get ready for their first ACC game at home. So get out of here healthy, play a good game. Don't let Niagara hang around, right? Like you mentioned it, like it could be one of those games where we struggle from 3 and Niagara gets hot and they're hanging around. Jump early, hit them early, and don't let them hit back. I don't take too much away from the score at the end of the day. I mean, yes, it'd be nice for Syracuse to get a 20, 25 point win and kind of cruise in the second half. But like, obviously in college nowadays, like you kind of get those big leads, and then in the second half you kind of lay low and teams go on mini runs. Like they never really cut it close, but at the end of the day, the score looks close. So get out of here healthy, execute it at a high level, get this W, and go 9-3 heading into ACC play. And you're a miles ahead of where I thought you'd be at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think getting a big one is nice for things like net, right? Like, I mean, it matters. Like at margin of defeat and victory is important when you're looking at net rating. Look at Iowa State; they beat like nobody, but they like then just beat them teams like by 40 and 50, like just terrible teams, and like they have some rough losses, and they're pretty high in net, right? So like that's an important thing is taking care of business and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and winning. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if this team. I think this is a good maturity test. Like it's a good kind of look at, well, you know, where does this team come from? You know, all the way from that New Hampshire game to start the year. Can they come into a game and just do what you're supposed to do, right? Let's just have no shenanigans, like no drama.
You know, it sounds crazy, right? But like it's the simple things, like the simple things.
Yeah, and like I mean, we both remember days when this would have been like a joke of a game, and you just know what's going to happen. Like this team, you still don't know. Like you still don't know. Like Niagara has enough to potentially make it interesting. Like I think they have
100%. Yes,
they have enough. Can that enough, like, you know, do it for 40 minutes, and be assisted by the fact that Syracuse plays poorly or sleepwalks?
It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting for me to see. Obviously, this game was at 7:00. Obviously, the Syracuse and the bowl game schedule came out. Syracuse football is it's either 7:30 or 8. They tip, whatever, it doesn't matter. Or kickoff, tip off, whatever. So this game got moved to 5. So that'll kind of be interesting to see like how they adjust to. I mean, there's a big difference. So usually when you play at 7, usually guys arrive at the Dome like 4:30, 4:45 to get stretched out and get some shots up. So now you're doing that 2 hours earlier than you normally would. So now it's 3:30, 3 o'clock, 2:45 to kind of get stretched out and things like that. So like obviously you just kind of you just got to lock in early. Like you mentioned, the women do tip off at 10:30, so it's a big day. Like not a big day, but you got all three sports playing. You got women's, men's basketball, and then the football team. So it'll be interesting to see how many people actually show out. I know it's kind of around the holidays, so a lot of people, but like 5 o'clock, a lot of people work until 4:30, right? So it's
Good
be
point.
interesting. Listen, I'll be one to tell you I was going to go to this game. I got asked to go to this game. I had to turn it down because we actually have our final home game tomorrow at 5. So I will not be attending. I will probably watch it when I get home from my game. But yeah, it's just a weird time. So it'll be interesting to see how Syracuse kind of jumps into that and really attacks that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea how many people will be there. The students are going to be gone, I believe, for the most part, if they're not already. You've got
Most of them are gone.
Like you said, you got other things happening. It's a 5 o'clock 5 o'clock game. People are working, like are hustling to get there from work, and you have to imagine people aren't like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. We got Niagara tonight. Come on, let me out of here. You know what I mean? Like, so like I'm assuming that like that's probably going to be part of it. It's holidays. People are traveling. People are getting ready to travel. So I mean, I would.
They're probably like, I will say one thing. There probably won't don't look at the student section because it's probably going to be pretty empty. The numbers will be a little obscured to what you're used to because obviously Greg Paulus is coming home. So like there'll be a lot of people that from the area that he knows that will probably be there. But like it may kind of like when you look in the crowd, like obviously SU fans will show up, right?
Yeah.
But when you look in the crowd, you may see a couple more purple shirts and things like that you normally wouldn't see because of Greg Paulus being the head coach, and Niagara's really not too far from Syracuse. So like, obviously you'll see different things here and there.
Yeah, I agree. So that's again, and if you think that doesn't matter, you're wrong because it does matter. I mean, you saw the way Syracuse was sleepwalking in Oregon 2 in Sioux Falls where nobody was there, right? And it's just kind of like not that nobody was there, there were people there, but it's just different, right? Like anytime there's a curveball or something different, like it does take time to get it going. Like I think we kind of look at these guys as robots sometimes and just like they should just do this because they're better than them. It doesn't work like that. There's another team. Coach Paulus is going to have his guys ready, right? As much as they can. There's going to be a game plan, right? Like they're going to try and take some things away. So we'll see how Niagara decides to defend. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm interested in. I'm waiting for somebody to actually play a zone, like an actually decent zone. Like Oregon zone was garbage. But for teams to try different things, and I would make Syracuse shoot. I would pack that. If I was Niagara, right? If I was Niagara, I would pack it in. Like pack it in. Make Chris Bell beat me. Don't let Judah beat me. Don't let JJ beat me. Like let Chris Bell beat me.
Justin.
Make Copeland hit some threes. Like make those guys beat us. Like make Judah go 4 for 7 from 3. That's what I would do. But we'll see what Niagara does on that end. All right, I'm gonna go. Syracuse wins by like 12. I think I think we won't feel great about it, but we won't really care either because again, like it's the last day before break. Let's just get a win. Let's just get to 9-3, and let's just get ready for Pittsburgh coming in town on the 30th, right? So that's kind of my prediction. What's your personal spread tonight?
So Ken Palm actually has Syracuse winning 84-64, so a 20-point win. I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I think it's going to be like 14 or 15. I think Syracuse kind of punches early and then just kind of, I won't say cruise. I hate using the word cruise, but like kind of just go with the flow for the rest of the game. I do think that you'll see, like, I don't think JJ or Judah, I don't think you're going to see 36, 37, 38 minutes. I think he kind of gets some guys in. Cuff. I know, like, obviously Copeland's played a lot recently, but like kind of get Cuff in there to get some more minutes. You're going to need a lot of these guys come ACC play. So I think this is a chance where you can really get these guys in the game and they can like compete at a high level. at a high level. Again, I say high level. It's college basketball at the end of the day. So like it doesn't matter really who you're playing. Just get out there, compete, run through some offensive sets and things like that. So like I think like Naheem, this would, like you said, I know they have a guy who's 7 foot 280, but they don't really use him too much. I think this could be a game where Naheem gives you 20, 25. So like if you need him in the ACC play, he's used to playing. Like honestly, the last what 3, 4, 5 games, I don't think he's eclipsed more than like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
So like this would be a game to get him out there, and like we're gonna need you at some point during the ACC play and during the season. So like you're gonna play more minutes. I doubt for fans that are wondering, I doubt you'll see Hema in a game like this because Syracuse should cruise through. So like with his back issues and things like that, I don't think Syracuse and their coaching staff are gonna put him out there to kind of make anything happen that they don't want to happen. So you probably won't see Hema. But you should see everybody else. It'd be nice to get a game like this to kind of get Chris Bell going again, kind of get Justin some looks. Like again, these guys only shot 6 total shots combined, I think, against Oregon. They were 1 of 3 and 0 of 3. So like, let them get some shots up, right? Like obviously, JJ and Judah go to work early, get this lead, and then kind of like flow into the offense. Let Justin get some looks, let Chris get some looks, and things like that. It's just going to kind of help this team in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. I think long game on this one. I think that's the way to do it as well. So, yeah, that's Niagara. I think what you want to talk about some ACC stuff.
Yeah, I'll just quickly run through. I know the last time we did our pod was Monday morning. We did it after we beat Niagara. So, like, obviously some big games last night. Memphis beat Virginia. I won't say beat Virginia. Memphis handled Virginia. They ended up winning by 23. And Providence with the 15-point upset over Marquette, which was a big win for Providence. And Kim English, who obviously is the new coach there with, oh my God, why can't I think of his name? Who was the old Georgetown's coach? Ed Cooley, with Ed Cooley leaving. James Madison, obviously with a 39-point win over Coppin State. So they're rolling with their remarkable season that they've had so far. And then just some other games. Obviously tonight or Wednesday night, we have North Carolina, Oklahoma, which will be a good one. You got UConn, Seton Hall, Baylor, Duke, Villanova, Creighton, and then Alabama, Arizona, which are some good top 25 games. And ACC, I don't really think there's much ACC game. Okay. You got NC State against St. Louis and Pitt against Purdue FW tonight. Obviously, Purdue FW is actually 11-1 on the season.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what that game will look like, but that's your ACC for tonight. And then tomorrow night, quickly, obviously Syracuse, Niagara. Not really. I mean, you got Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville could have an impressive win if they could beat Kentucky. And then the other ACC games they're just kind of playing lower teams: Boston College, Lehigh, Stonehill, Miami, and UMass Georgia Tech. So that's your ACC slate for the next couple of days.
Yeah, pretty soft. Pretty soft. Yeah, I mean, go ahead, sorry.
But that's that. So Syracuse, Niagara tomorrow at 5. It's an early tip off for normal. So if you can make it. If not, just root on the team from wherever you are.
Yep, absolutely. Watch the game and then check out the bowl game afterwards. So hopefully a nice 3-0 day for the Orange. We'll see what happens. That's it from us today, guys. We didn't talk your ears off. We'll see a little bit more about Niagara. We'll probably have more to talk about in the post game than in the pregame, and then we'll hit you guys with some stuff over the Christmas break. And then, like we said before, it gets really heavy into it. So on behalf of Nick Peckham, thanks for coming in, hanging out, and we will see you guys. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays, whatever it is that you do. Enjoy it with you and yours, and we will see you guys right before the new year. All right, thanks, guys. Catch you later.